할아버지. A few days ago, I used the last few drops of the bottle of green aftershave lotion you never got to finish. It stung as I slathered it around my chin, but for a minute, I was able to travel back to my childhood when I would run my fingers across your stubble and get a whiff of that fragrance. Now, it's harder to find traces of you in my everyday life. Your flower print shirts that I inherited have been washed so many times that they now just smell like laundry detergent. I have to dig deep into my iCloud to find photos of you, and you don't show up in my dreams as frequently as you used to. You always told me we would meet again through prayer, but even there, it seems like there's nobody on the other line these days. On June 25th, I ran by the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C., smiling wistfully as I reminisced about the commando orders you barked after you had a bit too much to drink, in stark contrast to your usual soft-spoken speech. Though I never would have expected it 6 years ago, resolving this war that you fought in 70 years ago has become my mission as well. But what would you think of me now, an American citizen dedicating my life to this cause? People often ask me how I became interested in North Korea, and I tell them I want to honor my grandfather, whose hometown is in Hongdae and was a Korean War veteran, to fulfill his dream of Korean unification. But what does it really mean to carry on your legacy and live out your memory? My immense gratitude for your sacrifices sometimes manifests as guilt, that I may never be able to understand fully or repay you completely. You never asked me to advocate on behalf of North Korean defectors or elderly divided families. And at the end of the day, I know that you didn't set any expectations for how I should live my life or what I should or shouldn't do. Rather, your love felt unconditional, with the only string attached that I be happy. But as the pandemic and politics make family reunions less and less likely, I feel restless because it feels like we have no time to lose. These days, I feel like what I need the most is 여유, a word that I feel like you embodied, perhaps not financially or temporally, but by the cadence of your walk and the intention of your breath. You always seem satisfied with watching travel shows on TV, enjoying classical music playing on your portable radio, or those little containers of soju that you hid from grandma. You always had the time and energy to listen to every complaint and every story that we shared with you, or spend hours talking to a stranger sitting outside the subway. As the Maya Angelou quote goes, people may forget what you did or what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. Heard, seen, recognized. And to this day, even people who only met you briefly, like my childhood cello teacher, ask about you. But even as smells and sights fade away, and ambitious dreams are humbled by the humdrum of everyday life, I realize that you are still here. I hear you as I listen to stories of family separation and talk to my neighbor who lives on the street bench outside the cicadas ring, just like they did at your apartment in Seoul. I see you as I walk the streets of DC, the same ones that you and Grandma explored before I was born. And I can almost smell you faintly as I sip on makgeolli on a rainy evening, praying that I can slow down and notice you in these moments. Paul.